In this box, we have the one Tikka rifle that was never meant for civilian use. And a photo leaked online, and everybody in the US market went nuts about the Tac-A1. So today, we're gonna do a deep dive into the Tac-A1, what makes it special. We weren't supposed to get it, and the cool thing is it's probably been the most successful Tikka rifle launch since their inception. So let's dive in to the Tac-A1. So it took us a minute, but we got everything unpacked. And I have to say, out of all the models that Tikka sells, this rifle comes with the most extensive kit with it. So you obviously have the rifle here. We actually use this rifle as a demo rifle for installing our M-LOK forend our M-LOK Arca rail, as well as our bag rider. So those parts obviously don't come from the factory. But everything else you see here, folding stock, you have an adjustable cheek piece, you have extra stock spacers to adjust your length of pull. You have an M-LOK QD attachment you can put anywhere on the forend. It comes with an extra magazine, so these magazines are pretty expensive, so that's a nice feature. The bolt is parkerized, and so that's a military specification. This rifle was designed for the Finnish military, and so it was with a 16-inch barrel, or the metric equivalent of 16 inches, and it was set up as a lightweight sniper rifle. Now there's nothing lightweight about this rifle for civilian use, but for military use, it is quite the light rifle. And extremely accurate. You have a two-stage trigger, so you're able to preload the trigger and then set up your shot. And it adjusts just like the factory single-stage triggers, so that's nice to have. It comes with an assortment of tools, so you have your Allen key for I guess it's kind of a T-handle, for your action screws, a couple L wrenches for your forend. Actually comes with their version of a bolt tool and firing pin bolt disassembly function. A whole bag of extra screws, which is important because this thing has a ton of screws. And then a huge, absurd muzzle brake. And unlike a lot of Tikka's other radial muzzle brakes that are quite honestly garbage, this one actually has directional fins in it. So I would imagine that this is a significant improvement. Now, the original Tac-A1s came with kind of Tikka's crappy, just straight radial brake. This one actually is a significant upgrade since the original. And it has a Mirage band screw on top. Now, Mirage bands aren't widely used in the US, but they are widely used overseas. Your lock and an instruction manual, which on a rifle like this, there's a lot of stuff going on, so take the time, read the instruction manual. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to tear this whole thing to pieces and show you how everything fits together to make this rifle as awesome as it is. All right, so let's start on the muzzle end. So this particular variant is a 24-inch 308. I was really trying to get my hands on a 16-inch 308 just for fun, because our other Tac-A1 has a custom barrel, it's 26 inches, and I wanted a nice, short, fun shop rifle. However, there weren't any available at the time I bought this one. So 24 inches, we may cut it down later. So comes with a barrel thread protector, and actually before I do anything, you notice there's no bolt in here. I'm just going to remove the magazine so we know the rifle's clear safe. Remove the thread protector. Obviously throw a suppressor on here or a muzzle brake. We're going to install the factory muzzle brake. Quite a bit of threads. All right, so we're going to rotate it to where it's timed, where that Mirage band screw is on top. And we take our 4mm Allen key that came with the rifle, and you tighten this down, and then you have a self-timing muzzle brake. So like with all the Tikka T3Xs, the core of the rifle is the same. So you have the exact same T3X action that you find on other rifle systems. And contrary to some of the earlier marketing materials, this is not held on by a barrel nut. The barrel is threaded into the action. And so when we take this apart, you'll get a better idea of how this whole thing goes together. So there was some erroneous marketing data when the rifle first launched, stating that this forend was AR-15 compatible, and it's not. Now they do have an interesting system for attaching the forend on here that comes from a Valmet gas gun, still made in Finland, and it's interesting because it still has the hole for the gas tube, but this forend, this assembly, is assembled like a traditional Tikka. They just put it inside this chassis. And then you have a continuous 0 MOA rail across the top. And we played around with some prototypes on and mounting AR-10 style forends on here. And we could never get the rails to match up correctly because we couldn't get the continuous rail between the AR-10 forend and the rail that's on top of the action, so we kind of abandoned that project. We'd have to come up with a whole new rail, and we've prototyped this before, and the system that comes with the Tikka is pretty dang good. Now, some people will complain about it being only 0 MOA. Well, and on another video, we'll bring out our highly modified Tac-A1, where we did make a prototype 20 MOA rail. And if you have the 20 MOA angle here, and then you still have your 0 MOA here, you kind of lose all the benefit of having one continuous Picatinny rail across the top here. So we abandoned that idea as well. The easiest thing to do when you mount your optic on here is to get something like a Seekins 20 MOA one-piece mount. And Seekins did not pay me to say that. We just like their products, and it works really well on this system. So moving on to the grip. This is an AR-15 style grip. You can swap this out with any other AR-15 grip that you like. And personally, I really like the grip that this rifle comes with. It's made by a company called Ergo, and they just have the stamped Tikka logo into it. And it's super comfy. The mag release, real easy to get your hand around. 2-stage trigger. Now, some people like a 2-stage trigger, some people like a single-stage trigger. Well, the great thing is this is a standard Tikka trigger. So if you wanted to swap it out for a standard Tikka trigger, you could. One of the things I do like, and this must have been a military requirement, is you have an extra lever on the safety. And that extra lever on the safety allows you to remove the bolt while the rifle's on safe. This is not something you can do with a standard Tikka T3X. That is a feature generally reserved for the Sako line that uses the exact same trigger. So moving on to the buttstock. This is one of the best folding buttstock assemblies that I've played with on any chassis. It locks into place, and you have to hit the same button you hit for release to unlock it, fold it. You can just hear that. It's a meaty system that grabs that, and there's just no play in it whatsoever. So moving to the buttstock, height adjustability is super simple. You just loosen this. This is not even Kydex, it's just plastic, but you're able to adjust this, adjust the angle, get it super comfy. We're huge proponents of making the rifle fit you. Don't contort your body trying to make your body fit the rifle. You'll never shoot as well as if the rifle fits you. So the recoil pad has a height adjustment as well. And so you take your 5mm T-handle that came with the rifle, give it a colonoscopy, loosen that. You can adjust this up and down. Again, making this rifle fit you, not making you fit the rifle. You don't want any tension on the rifle system when you're shooting it. Other than that extra hole in the middle, this seems to be just kind of a standard Tikka recoil pad. You Most likely could put a limb saver on here. We'll play around with that. However, you would lose the hole here for adjustability. You'd probably have to drill that hole in there yourself. If you're interested in learning more about how the Tac-A1 goes together, stay tuned, because we're going to tear this rifle down just like we did in the anatomy of the Tikka T3X series. If you haven't seen that series, click here. It's a lot of fun. We tore a rifle completely down to its individual components. We're going to do the same thing with the Tac-A1. This is 4th of July weekend when this video is going to be published, so go out with your family and go get some trigger time.